Yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy King Sanders here. We are back with another day of sports betting. This is going to be for Sunday, March 19th slate of NBA and college basketball. Yes, we are going to be combining them into one video, just so that way you guys don't have to try to figure out when the next video is going to come out, try to wait for the time for it to release, stuff like that. I don't want you guys to have to do that. I'm just going to cram it all into one video. I'm going to shorten everything. I'm going to quit rambling, but without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. We are on the road to 12,000 subscribers, so if you guys are new, make sure you guys do go ahead and hit that sub button for me. Next, a quick shout out here to all of our members here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do, and thank you guys so much for giving me such a small channel, such a big chance, as I always say. Truly does mean the absolute world to me, so much more than you guys will ever know. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into a quick recap as of yesterday. Unfortunately, both the files that I did have ended up getting corrupted, so I do apologize about that. But we ended up having a 2-in-1 day in the NBA, and we ended up giving pretty much all just donations for the college basketball. We had a really bad day in college basketball, but when it comes to the NBA, we did okay. So for the NBA, we did end up having Wendell Carter Jr. over 8.5 rebounds, finishes with 12, really no sweat whatsoever, kind of exactly how I drew it up. He was going to hang out a lot around the rim, and he did just that, and he scooped up a lot of these rebounds. Then we did end up having the Raptors minus 7.5. They made it kind of interesting going into the fourth quarter, but didn't really matter too much. The Raptors ended up pulling away. No Anthony Edwards for the Timberwolves. I mean, that's pretty much all you have to say. Then we did also have Jamal Murray under 20.5 points. He had a really good game. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Really good game. Finishes with 25, I do believe. So ended up going 2-1 for that. And we went 0-3 in our college basketball picks. We had a really rough day in college basketball. So we did end up having Duke minus 3.5. This one, it was a no sweat, but in the wrong direction. Duke didn't come out to play. They played awful, and they never had a shot in this one, really. Then we had Kansas minus 3.5. Arkansas literally had one of the craziest runs that I've seen in person in a very long time. Kansas was up by like 11, I believe it was, at halftime, and Arkansas just came out, and they were the team that wanted it more. And despite Kansas trying to fight their way back into it, it just wasn't enough. Then we had Auburn plus 5.5. This one also was pretty close, but it ended up losing for us as well. So we ended up going 0-3 on our college basketball, but hopefully we go ahead and bounce back today. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and speed through these and let's dive into it. So for our first official play of the day, we're going to the early game here in the NBA. We're taking Shea over 30.5 points here versus Phoenix at minus 105. I know this number is high, but for Shea, it's very, very doable. Shea is a very great basketball player, and he's gone over in 5 out of his last 6 games. I know that they did say that they were going to try to monitor his minutes. We haven't seen any of that. He's still getting close to 40 minutes a night. He's playing almost every single game, and he has a tremendous matchup here versus the Phoenix Suns. Now, I'm not sure exactly how the Phoenix Suns are going to throw out their rotation out there. Obviously, Chris Paul will be out there somewhere. I don't know if he'll be guarding Shea, but if he does, Shea is a way bigger guard than Chris Paul is, and I love the spot here for him. And the Phoenix Suns do allow the 7th most points per game to opposing point guards in the last 15 games. So you're talking about a very advantageous matchup here for a guy like Shea, a much bigger guard to be going up against a kind of a smaller guard in Chris Paul. So I love the spot here, and let's be real. The Suns don't really have a whole bunch of defenders anyway. So you're talking about you're talking about a pretty lackluster defense, and they don't have DeAndre Ayton, so that's going to take away some of the rim protection there, which is where Shea thrives. He does a very good job of getting to the rim, finishing strong, and I think that this is a spot that you do want to take as over. I could see this going over very, very early in the third, or like during the third quarter, excuse me. And earlier this year, he did have 32 versus Phoenix, and that team was pretty much fully healthy. So I think he does do it again. So that's going to be our first official play of the day. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander over 30.5 points here versus Phoenix, minus 105 odds. Now for our second official play of the day, we are going to be taking a plus value play. We're going with Giannis over 5.5 assists here versus Toronto at plus 100 odds. Just go ahead and type up Giannis assist log versus the Toronto Raptors, and you guys will see exactly why I love this play. One thing that the Toronto Raptors do a very good job of is they are a very long and athletic team. They are a very bad matchup for a guy like Giannis, who it doesn't necessarily have the most tremendous jump shot. And with that being said, it's really shown. He's gotten a triple-double last game versus the Raptors. Then he had one game where he only finished with 4 assists, but every other game is like 8 assists, 9 assists versus this Toronto Raptors team. And so you're talking about a team that is a very good defensive team. It's going to force Giannis to kick out. Giannis should be, Giannis loves to drive. When he's down there, there's a good chance that he does kick out to a lot of the shooters. And I think that this is a really good spot here for a guy like Giannis to be able to hit this over. And also, the Raptors do allow the eighth most assists per game to opposing power forwards. So I love the spot here. I think that there is a world where Giannis does get close to a triple-double once again. I don't mind if this line somehow moves up to 6.5. I think it will stay at 5.5. But just in case, I love the spot here. I think that Giannis has a really big night, especially passing the ball. So that is going to be our second official play of the day. Giannis over 5.5 assists here versus Toronto at plus 100 odds. Now for our third and final NBA play of the day, we are going to the Trailblazers plus 2 here versus the Clippers at minus 110 odds. Now earlier, the Portland Trailblazers announced that if they don't start turning things around, they are going to shut down Damian Lillard for the rest of the season. And I think that this is a spot that's kind of clicked in their mind, and it's kind of made them believe that, okay, we got to turn things around and we have to start doing it now. I think they get that done here in this game. I think that the Blazers can go ahead and have a really big night here. I love the spot here. So hopefully it ends up working out. They are also going to be playing at home, where the Trailblazers do play a little bit better. I know that the Clippers are a very good team, but it's just going to be a matter of if this Trailblazers team can keep up, and them being only 2-point dogs makes me think they do win this game outright. So I don't mind the money line here. I think it's like plus 100 or something along those lines. So if you do want a little bit of value, I would definitely sprinkle some on there, but I'm taking the plus 2 just in case if they do end up losing by 1. But I do love the spot here. I think that the Trailblazers are going to get it done, so that way Dame doesn't have to sit for the rest of the season. I think that Dame is going to have a huge night. His points line is set to 35.5, especially versus a pretty good Clippers defense. That's pretty insane. So I really do like the spot here for a third and final NBA play of the day. Trailblazers plus 2 here versus the Clippers at minus 110 odds. Now also really quick before I dive into the college basketball, tomorrow may be a giveaway day. We are perfectly even as of right now. If we don't have a winning day as of tomorrow, then we will be doing that $50 giveaway. So make sure you guys are subbed and turn on the notifications so you guys can have a chance to win that as well. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into our college basketball plays as well. First play of the day, we're taking Indiana minus 1.5 versus Miami. Indiana looked really good last game, and they limited. The thing I like most is that they limited their turnovers. That is going to get them very, very far in this tournament. And I know that Miami, they also played a pretty solid game, but I just love Indiana this year. Trace Jackson-Davis and Hood Schifino, they have been absolutely insane. And some of the role players for Indiana really stepped up last game. I expect them to do the same thing again. Miami was on upset watch versus Drake there for quite some time until about the last 2 or 3 minutes. Then they really started to kick things on and get things going. But up until then, I mean, they were definitely on upset watch. I took Drake in the last video. I think it was like plus, I don't remember what it was. But regardless, I did take Drake in that game. And they were in good position to win it up until late. So I really do like Indiana here. I think that they end up winning this game by probably like 6 to 7 points. I really like the spot here. So that's going to be our first college play of the day. Indiana minus 1.5 versus Miami minus 110. Now for our second official play of the day, we're going with Kentucky minus 3 here versus Kansas State. I know I'm taking 2 favorites. That doesn't happen a lot in college basketball. I completely understand that, but I do like Kentucky here. They've been a tough out pretty much all year long, but especially as of the last like month and a half. I love the spot here. And this year they have beat some really solid teams, especially like starting from February. Take a look at some of the teams that they beat. They beat Providence last round, as we all saw. And then they beat Arkansas, a team that is streaking right now. They're playing very well. They just beat a very good Kansas team. They beat Auburn. Auburn was a very tough out as well. They also beat Tennessee. Tennessee is another team that's streaking. They just ended up beating Duke. So So Kentucky has beat some very solid teams, especially over the last month and a half, and I think that we see a similar situation here. I just think that they end up taking care of business here. If you wanted to take the money line, it's definitely safer, of course, but I really do like Kentucky here. I think that they do win and cover. Kind of a similar situation here to Indiana. So that is going to be our second official play of the day. Kentucky -3 here versus Kansas State at -110 odds. Now for our third and final play of the day, we're taking another favorite. I know, but we're going with Marquette -2.5 here versus Michigan State at -110 odds. I can't lie to you guys. I don't have any stats to back this up, but I'm going to go ahead and flash this here on screen. One of my good friends put $15,000 on Marquette -3.5 at +100 odds. I can't. This is a legacy bet for my good friend, and I'm just not going to sit there and not back it. I'm just not. Of course, Michigan State is a very hard team to bet against, especially in the month of March. But when my man's is betting on it for 15,000, I'm right there with him. So I really don't have any stats to back this up. Marquette did look pretty good last round. They shocked me for sure. I thought they could have potentially been one of the teams that were upset right away. That did not happen. So I think that, with the way they shocked me, anything could go. It is March. So I really do like the spot here. This is just literally a legacy bet. I'm tailing one of my good friends, so I am going to track it. It is going to still be a bet for me. Hopefully, it ends up winning for him. But that is our third and final college basketball play. Marquette -2.5 here versus Michigan State at -110 odds. So that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys do like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Like I said, we are still currently on the road to 12,000 subscribers. So if you guys are new, make sure that you guys are subbed. But that's going to do it for me. This is King Sarah signing out. Peace.